Hi everybody, this is Elisa with Fusion DIY. Welcome back to my channel. I know that it's been quite a while since I've produced a video and I've had some personal things happening in my life, so I needed to step away for a while. But I am back today with a video tour of my booth. My booth is located at the Pickers Junction in Sellersville, Pennsylvania. So if you live in the Easton, Allentown, Bethlehem, Quakertown area or in Western New Jersey, I would invite you to visit the Pickers Junction. It's located at 220 North Main Street in Sellersville, Pennsylvania. It's a wonderful shop and you will find an eclectic mix of beautiful things. Pawn Stars on the Road actually videoed an episode about a year ago at the Pickers Junction, and it aired in, I believe, late November or early December of 2022. And since then, we've seen an increase in business there, and that's really, really wonderful. So definitely, if you have an opportunity, come out and visit, and I hope that you enjoy this booth tour. So right off the bat, you'll see a vintage hamper, and on top of that, a tray that I made using a piece of wood and an IOD transfer. The blue table also is something I just recently painted, and I put an IOD transfer on it. Mrs. Claus does not belong to me, nor does the fire extinguisher, but right above the fire extinguisher, you'll see a cabinet door that I turned into a really pretty piece of artwork. And above that, there is an IOD transfer, and that piece I just love. Then I've got some things that are stenciled, You Are My Sunshine, and then below that there is a picture frame that I simply painted and made it shabby chic. The light switch is from my son's room when he was little, and in front of you, you will see a black dresser that I turned into a coffee bar, and I've got some things on the bottom. That black and white is actually a tablecloth, and on top of the dresser, or on top of the coffee bar, you can see there's a serving platter, there's a set of wine glasses, there is a pretty teacup and saucer, and right behind it, you may not be able to tell what it is, but it's actually a butter dish, a round one. The green plant holders were an inspiration from Pinterest, and the items on the shelf there are a faux cement dog and a faux cement bunny that hangs onto the edge of things. I also have on top, there's a piece of pottery and a little crate with some baby's breath in it. My swan lamp is there, as well as my sign for the she shed. I think I shared that with you guys on a recent reel on my Facebook page, my Fusion DIY Facebook page. I have a shelf sitter. There is the cow shelf sitter, and below that, I picked up a vintage Pomerantz salad bowl, salad serving bowl, and 4 smaller bowls. And down on the floor, I have 4 placemats that are lemons and a tool caddy that I also painted and gave that a shabby chic look. I have an Avon bust of Lincoln and a ball jar that's been painted and distressed. And just a couple of other things. That dragonfly with the fern is actually a piece of drop cloth, and I've used molds on there, and then I dark stained it. And above that is a little butterfly tin holder with some lavender in it. Up at the top there, you'll see a cabinet door that I just decided to use up some of my scraps on my transfers. And so that's what I did with it, as well as some other things. The chicken cutting board, I actually made that, and that's hanging in my booth. And then there's a couple of mugs, because I don't have room on my mug rack at the moment for them. And in the back there, you'll see 4 nesting boxes, which I did, and I absolutely love them. So if they don't sell, they're coming home to my house. And then right in front, you'll see these blue condiment dishes. These are just so pretty. They're cobalt blue, and you can see how small they are. I'm picking them up so that you can actually look at them. I have them scotch taped together so that nobody drops one of them and breaks it, but they're all in excellent condition, no chips, no cracks, and they are available in my booth. And I think there's 6 of them, if I'm not mistaken. And then next to that, you will see a set of 4 coasters, and they have been decoupaged with sunflower napkins, which are so, so popular. And all of these things are sitting on this pretty little vanity that I picked up at a yard sale about 2 years ago. That little round box was one that was hand painted by me, and that is available too. These picture frames are a set of picture frames that I got from a yard sale. They are Pier 1, and they really are pretty. Now, I have to confess, this corner, I have to do something with it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I'm going to put something else there in the not-too-distant future. I have a chicken. It's a wooden chicken, as well as the wall pocket there with the forsythia in it. This is a Hearth and Hand pitcher that I picked up, and then, of course, a galvanized pail with some geraniums and a couple of other things down there. And then I've got the white plant holder down on the floor. This piece, and I think I'm going to zoom out in a minute, this piece was actually decoupaged with the Jamie Ray vintage paper, and we'll get back to it in a minute. But in the meantime, you can see the water bottles there, and right behind it there is a vase filled with, or a pitcher filled with lilacs, which is actually on the front of the pitcher. And in the foreground, that's a piece of ironstone with red transfer on it. Now, in a moment, I'm going to move these flowers out of the way so that you can see this window that I worked on. This window, I call it Stormy Weather, and although the top of it is a little bit hidden by the wreath hanging on the wall, you can see the dark sky, and then as it gets further down the window, you can see that the sky gets lighter. So it's a storm that is passing by, and there's clearer weather coming. This wreath I made, and it's been hanging in my booth since spring. If it doesn't sell in the next couple of months, I'm going to take it home and I'm going to use it in my home. Then I've got this drawer front. This is actually the drawer front from the coffee bar. When I took the bottom drawer out to make the coffee bar, I kept the drawer and I painted it, and I decoupaged some, I didn't decoupage. I took some transfers out of one of the newer IOD transfer books, and I put them on there, and then it was screaming for brass hooks, and so that's what I did. I put the brass hooks on there. This piece is relatively new to my booth. I just brought that in this past weekend, and this is a pail full of sunflowers, and who doesn't love sunflowers? Every time I put sunflower anything out, it sells. If you're more of a primitive decor person, you will see this candle holder that says Willow on it. And then beneath that are 4 Princess House plates that are available. Now I'm going to back up a little bit, and you can see this break front that I have had in my booth for a while. And it opens, and it definitely has some storage. So if you wanted to use it in your dining room, it would be perfect for that, or actually wherever you put it, it would be perfect for it. Beneath the break front, I have a couple of charcuterie boards, and I will show you those in just a moment. But in the meantime, on top of the break front, I've got a couple of salt and pepper shakers and just a couple of white pieces. I also have the shelf sitter, and this is a cow. And I think it's just adorable. This 3-tiered tray is actually a cupcake holder. So if you wanted to have a party and you wanted to give out cupcakes, you could definitely use that. I have a bottle that mimics an old milk bottle. And then moving back up against the wall is a window that's got a wreath, a springtime wreath on it. It's tied there with jute, so you could definitely take it down and put a seasonal wreath in depending upon what the season is. The chalkboard is one that I had to reglue a lot of the paper and clean it up a little bit, but it turned out great, and that is available as well. And then I have this bedside table. You could use it as that. You could use it in your entryway. And on it, I have a basket of boxwood and the silver shell there, that's metal. I have a cake plate with 4 ironstone plates. Was it 4 or is it 3? It's either 3 or 4 ironstone plates. Again, another piece of transfer. But this piece actually turned out so pretty, and I wanted to show it to you. Look at that hardware. Isn't that gorgeous? I used rub and buff on the hardware to make it gold. It had been silver, but I thought the gold was much richer. So I did the rub and buff to accent the piece of furniture, and as I said, I got the hardware for it. You can see it's very clean inside, and the drawers open and close very, very smoothly, so there's no issues there. I have a Victoria's Secret overnight bag. And as I mentioned, I have the charcuterie boards. I have 2. I have one that has just a plain handle. And then beneath it, oh, I guess I'm moving it. Okay. And then beneath it, I have another one that's got handles on both sides. So if you're going to be carrying something a little bit heavier, makes it a little bit easier to grab with both handles. With the holidays coming up, these things are really important to have on hand for serving. As I said, the Victoria's Secret weekend bag is there, as well as some additional pieces that I put on top of the nightstand. This is a couch table that I did, and I used the same decoupage paper on that I used on the break front. And that is available in my booth as well. I sewed a couple of pillows, and the first one is more of a summertime pillow. It's got more of a summer theme to it. But I took the one out so that you could have the opportunity to see the blue tapestry one. And then you can see that I have a set of dishes, or a set of bowls, down in the wooden crate. And speaking of crate, these bowls are Crate and Barrel. They are a set of nesting bowls. And from what I've seen on the internet regarding the research I've done, that one bowl can sell as much as $65. I don't have that whole set priced anywhere near that, but there's an orange one, a blue one, a yellow one, and then a brown one, or maybe like a dark eggplant color. The little white box I call a whatnot box, and then of course there's some dessert dishes. Also, I have a pitcher that I filled with lavender. Lavender typically, anything with lavender in it typically sells well for me, so I try to put enough in the booth. And especially with the holidays coming, those inexpensive gifts that, people will buy, they'll buy for their coworkers or a special friend. So I would say keep those booths stocked. Now, isn't that little chicken cute? I just thought it was really adorable. I had to pick it up, along with my patriotic house on a pedestal. And I believe that was an inspiration from somebody either on Pinterest or maybe within my creative group. I can't remember. I have a couple of plants or plant holders that have been hand painted by me. And those are available. One thing that I like about it, you take the pot away and then that little saucer becomes a great coaster for your morning coffee. That's what I use for mine. Right behind it is a Victorian sugar bowl. That hails from like the late 1800s, and I just thought it was just so pretty. Here's a pair of chicken salt and pepper shakers. And then behind it, a set of Coca-Cola glasses that are meant to mimic the Coca-Cola cans. Behind that, a vintage Clorox bottle. And then here is a candlestick that I painted and used white wax on it. And this is a little tray that's got 4 mini mason jars in it, along with some boxwood. Moving to the back of the table, you can see that this is just a little picket fence that I have filled with lavender. And I'm going to be moving that in a minute because I want to close this box. The color is actually washed out a little bit. It looks more white than it is pink, but it's actually a very pretty baby pink. And then when you close the box, you'll see that there's been some work on the box. Now, it used to be a box that held silverware. I took all of that out and all of the separators, and I lined it with pink taffeta as well as some cushion on the bottom. And then I painted the outside with pink and with white, and then I put on some molds, and there you have it. I just think it's a really, really pretty piece. I do have a bookshelf. And I put more of the fragile things on the bookshelf so that they don't get broken. The handbag is not part of the display. It was my handbag that I forgot to pick up. Okay, so this arrangement I just made. It's an autumn arrangement, and I know I'm pushing autumn, but it's my favorite time of the year. So I just think that those colors are just so typical of the autumn, and I love it. And it's in a brass container, and that sits on top of a mini stepladder that I turned into a plant stand. And down at the bottom of your screen there, you can see a chippy wire basket. I also have a bench that resembles a piano bench, but it doesn't open. The seat doesn't open. I reupholstered that and painted it. And then on top of it, I have a very nice tray along with 4 jars, just really more for aesthetics. I just love that fabric, don't you? And then also on the plant stand, just to get the point across as to what it actually is, there are 2 more pots with faux plants in them. There is a mirror that I actually put the molds on and then painted it all white. And then on the bookshelf here, I have some fragile things that I put down so they don't get knocked over. Those 2 bowls are crystal bowls. There's a piece of milk glass down there at the bottom. And of course the cobbler's shoe, what would you call it? It's just basically designed for a cobbler to be able to use it to make shoes. And then on the top I've got my mugs. There's a couple of gnomes up there. My little So what did you think of the booth tour? I hope that you enjoyed it and maybe you found something that sparked your interest. I don't have a website yet. That will be something that I hope to be doing in the near future, and I'll be able to sell things through my website. But as I said earlier, if you're local in the northeastern Pennsylvania area, definitely make a trip down to the Pickers Junction. You'll find some amazing treasures, and I hope that you will stop in and visit my booth. Once again, thank you for joining me today. This is Elisa with Fusion DIY. If you haven't done already, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that every time I produce a new video, you will be notified. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.